Hi, this is Virginia Todd with Leading Edge.
And I'm Leo Turco with Evolve Mortgage.
And we want to talk today a little bit about the market. So it's February 2024. And do you want to give a little bit about the rates? Because that's what's on the news all the time. Interest rates. And then I'll talk a little bit about my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, interest rates, more of the same. More of the same. What's going to happen? Who knows? There's very smart people out there making predictions, and they have been for many years, and they've all been wrong. So
completely.
What's going to happen? I'll share a little bit about what I think will happen, but my question for you is, are you feeling kind of a different buzz in 2024 now that we're about to roll into March?
I am. So I'm noticing people are being a little bit more optimistic. You know, they're feeling like, okay, I've waited. I keep thinking the market's going to crash. I keep thinking maybe 2% will come, and no, they've given up on that idea. You know, I think people are getting used to what the interest rates are. Yes. Of course, everyone's wishing for it to go down, but you know, the reality is they need a home. We want a place to live. Tired of paying rent. Rent just keeps going up. So they just need to do it.
So that's exactly what I'm seeing there.
Yeah.
Like in your opinion, right? We run into clients that say, "Hey, I'm going to wait for this market crash. I'm going to wait for rates to come down."
Yeah.
When do you think is the right time for a client to act?
It is always the right time because, I mean, the interest rate can go down later on and you can refinance. The market is so hot that even if you bought something and it was the wrong thing, you can sell it easily. Mm-hmm. Get your money back. Like you're almost not going to lose something.
Yeah.
I often will see houses and I'll be like, oh, if you just bought it and then whatever, slap on some paint, you can make a profit.
You could.
There was a great house in Melrose, and I was like telling my clients, like, you should buy it. They were so hesitant because, you know, they always think there's something better around the corner. And I'm like, if you just bought this, it's priced wonderfully, redo the floors, slap on some paint, do something that didn't even cost less than $10,000. In the spring when it's hot, and we're getting there, I'm finding that the spring market is like now. Yeah. Everyone keeps thinking spring is April. They could resell it.
Yeah, it starts now.
It starts now, and there's already multiple offers. Mm-hmm. In the fall, people could get home inspections, but I'm finding that now they're going back to waiving. Did you have a bunch of applications over the weekend? Did you notice that they waived home inspection?
So it varies.
It did.
I see a lot of home inspection for informational purposes only, but is it really?
Yes.
Is it really? I mean, what's important on home inspection, really? My opinion is structural integrity.
Yeah.
And high ticket items. Yeah. You're the real. I'm the finance guru.
You're the finance person. On my side, it all depends on my client. I have some clients that they're putting everything they own just to afford the monthly payment. Yeah. So if there was something, it would really hurt them financially. So that's how I look at it.
What things could hurt someone financially?
Like if they had to do a $10,000 furnace.
Yes. Big ticket items.
In February. When you can't wait, like AC you can wait on if you're in February, and AC you can live without. You can just buy a couple fans. But heat in February you need.
Heat you need, yes.
I'm just trying to think of other things my clients have had in the past that were not fun.
So I get this question a lot from clients.
You do?
Yeah, I think what happens is that I am an advisor.
Yeah.
Right. So like as we go through this process of preparing to buy, going through the shopping phase, looking at all these payment examples before making offers, that clients kind of come to me after the fact and we talk about the inspection and the results. And I always, my own personal experience with buying many homes as well is, what's it going to cost you to replace?
Yeah.
Right? Like, is it really that big of a deal?
Yeah.
And I always kind of steer the client to what are the big ticket items, right? It's HVAC systems, furnaces, it's roofs,
Yes.
It's mold issues, water issues,
Definitely mold.
structural integrity of the property, foundation. Anything else? Maybe a water heater that's like mid-range price tag. Anything else there though? I mean, this faucet's loose. This cabinet's like, I want this cabinet fixed. Like,
that's what YouTube is for.
That's what YouTube is for. We have so much information.
It's amazing what you can fix on YouTube.
Fix for like very minimal cost. And is it worth not getting the property you really, really have your desires on?
And you can
something that could cost you like
and you can live with
exactly.
And there's some things that are cosmetic, whatever, like you can live with. And you get used to very fast. Like, we really got used to our avocado green bathroom, which when I initially looked at the house, I was like, this is the first thing we are going to fix. Yep. Then I got a couple quotes. You know what? Avocado green looks really great. I found a nice shower curtain that matches avocado green, and that's 12 years later, it's still there.
And what would be the
works.
What would be the real expense if you wanted to change that?
Well, if we had to get rid of all the tile, then you have to replace the bath and all that kind of stuff. But that's all cosmetic, and it all costs a lot depending on if you want to go low grade or high grade.
Yeah,
and of course,
low grade would be paint in time.
Yeah.
Right, high grade would be a reno.
Exactly. And you can paint tile, and you can spray paint a tub. But again, if you go low end, it starts to peel and turn nasty colors.
I have a bathroom like that.
You do?
Yeah, this beautiful like yellow tile from probably the 80s, 70s.
No, I think it's the 70s.
Was painted white.
Yes.
And then, we've been there for 2 years and it's starting to peel off and we're just like, just let it fall off until we're ready to dump the whole place.
Exactly.
Like, take time to do certain things.
Yeah. And often like that, our green avocado tub isn't great material. The things they make today aren't as good quality as what they made in the 70s. They made stuff to last.
Totally. Yeah, so I mean, that's a great perspective. So back to your first question.
Yeah.
What's happening with rates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we going to see a 5?
Eventually.
Eventually 2 years, eventually 6 months.
So this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
So just remember that. There's some very smart people out there that think this is going to happen this year.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I'm a self-educator by nature, and the best way to predict the future is to look at the past and look for patterns. So I think we will see a 5 handle again, and what that means for our audience is a rate that starts with the number 5. Could be 5.875.
Yeah. 5.99999.
It's possible, but I don't think likely that it happens this year. I think my prediction since the middle of 2022 has been by mid-2025 we will see an interest rate that starts with the number 5 again.
Yeah. So that's not.
And I'm actually tracking to be accurate. I don't know. Maybe I should become wizard.
I heard some bigwigs talk last year, and they're like, October, it's going to be 5.25.
And I said, no way. And I love these individuals, it's your Barry Habibs, it's your Sean Benosians, that, they look at precursors that are happening economically and in the housing market and make
patterns and everything,
And their opinions aren't wrong, but they haven't panned out either. So I look back at history, and everything tells me that mid-25 has been my mark since mid-22 when I made that prediction.
Should we make a bet now on the videos to see?
Okay. So here's the thing. So the cost of waiting is a big thing.
It is. Because in that 1 year that you could have been owning your home and paying your mortgage, you're just losing all the equity.
Yeah. So here's what's guaranteed to happen if you wait.
Okay.
And again, this is my opinion, but history proves me right. So the cost of waiting. The cost of waiting is that you're going to increase your competition and it's going to increase price. So what we're seeing right now, mid-February rolling into March, is a significant increase in buyer activity and seller activity. Mm-hmm. So this is, my opinion, almost kind of like the molding of consumers. That it's the 3rd year of this.
Yes.
So this is normal. So what happens is that, rates were ultra low and rates jumped. and people don't know what to do
So
because
you
they're
just stopped.
shocked.
Exactly.
They're shocked, right? So that's all of 22. That's all of 23.
Yep.
And now it's 24 and it's the same. So what happens is that as a consumer, now we become kind of conditioned to be like, all right, this is normal.
Yes.
It's time to move on with life.
Exactly.
It's time to act because I need more space, or I'm getting married, or I'm getting divorced, or my job wants to move me, or I want to have kids and get in this school system or be in this town. It's time to just act. And that's what we're seeing, a big increase in activity from a loan application standpoint, I think, as well from the buyer pool intake of
open houses, showings,
happening.
all of that.
But waiting has a negative effect on taking action. Because if you wait, what happens is that more consumers reach this mental understanding of normalcy.
And level of comfort.
Right? So more people take actions. And then if there is any type of movement in interest rates downward, what that has financially is it makes the cost of money cheaper.
Yes.
So if I can borrow money at a lower rate, that means I can afford more.
Yeah.
So our society, they talk about capitalism and stuff like that, we are a consumer population. We are
100%.
built to consume things.
Yes.
To consume products and to consume and spend money. That's the nature of American society has built upon, right? So as consumers, if the cost of money gets cheaper, a large population of people will be willing to spend more money.
Exactly.
So what happens is that home that costs $500,000 today, you add in an extra 25%, 50% pool to the competition, and that price point goes up. So now you're spending $560 for a home you could have bought in February, March at $500.
Exactly.
Come the summer, right? Come the summer, it's $540, $550, $560 because people are willing to spend more. What's the real value of a property? What someone is willing to pay.
Exactly.
And if money costs less because interest rates are lower, more people are willing to spend more. So if you buy a home at $560 at 6%, when you could have bought it at $500 at 6.75%, guess which payment's higher?
Exactly.
It's not the rate.
It's not, no.
It's not
it's
the rate. It doesn't move the number that dramatically. So the right time to buy financially is always when you have the money, number one.
And you can afford it.
Right? And you can afford to spend it.
Yeah.
Affording to spend it means that, like, when you look back at your bank account, you don't freak out that there's nothing left or the amount of money that's left makes you feel worried. And, when you have that calmness to be like, hey, if I spend this chunk, I'm good with what's left or I'm good to rebuild. That's step number one financially. Step number two is all about budget. If my housing payment is this, right? My mortgage, taxes, insurance, condo fee if we're in a condo.
Yeah.
If it's this, and this is what I make as a household, let's look at what's left over. I can save, I can fund the future, I can maintain my lifestyle, I can accomplish future goals and not be worried.
Exactly.
Because worry doesn't lead to happiness. So that's, in my opinion, the right time to buy is when it makes financial sense.
And you can afford it, exactly. And you can always refinance.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Always.
And building equity is great because a lot of people that bought houses, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and we are all complaining about expenses being more now. Our food is up, our gas is up, just living is more expensive. Well, if you had a house that now had the equity, you can actually pull money from the house, maybe pay off a credit card or two, or do an extension if your house was too small, or
and that's a big thing that happens in year 3 of this kind of like consumer molding mentality as well, is that you have this 3% mortgage, right? But do you really have a 3% liability structure, right? Because if we look at consumer debt over the past few years, right, we went from like a mid-range number, like 450 billion in unsecured credit card debt. It's a lot of credit card balances, right? And what happened is that we went through this moment of ultra low interest rates, and the consumer unsecured credit card debt went like super down because we refinanced them for people. We restructured people's liabilities and freed up thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars
Yeah.
a month. But here's the thing that happened. Like the moment rates took their first jump at the beginning of 2022, you see that graph of unsecured consumer debt start to climb to the point 2.5 years later, we went from an ultra low number to $1.1 trillion.
Oh my God.
So we're in a worse position than we were before the last ultra low interest rate cycle.
Yeah.
People have more debt than they've ever had before.
Yeah.
So where you're thinking to yourself, if you own a property now, I'll never give up my 3% mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I do the math for you, and we look at your whole liability structure.
Yep. The credit card debt.
The credit card debt.
Cars are so
loans,
expensive.
the average car loan now
Like,
is like $650, $700
which is
a month.
crazy. I know.
and we reanalyze this debt structure to be like, okay, if you sell your property, you walk away with X. You take X amount of that
Yeah.
in down payment on the next place. You take another portion of that proceed and we eliminate debt.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the overall debt structure, you've gone from a house that had a 3% mortgage payment
Yep.
with some credit card debt that, you want to know what it does? It creates mental worry.
Yep.
It's not a happy place to be to get those bills in the mail. And then we eliminate that mental worry. We eliminate that debt and you're in this new mortgage payment that's at 6.5.
Yeah.
Did you lose if your overall money that goes out every single month goes down by $500 a month?
Exactly.
Goes down by $1,000 a month. It's like getting a raise to restructure liability. So I think that's going to be a big thing that like moves the market as well. Is
true.
that
Very,
individuals that like were like, I'll never let go of this 3% rate, but when they see the impact that can be done from restructuring your liabilities,
Yeah.
that new mortgage payment at 6.5% with zero debt reduces your total outflow of money significantly.
And your
It can be.
stress. Yeah. And quality of life.
That was a
So
lot, sorry.
yeah, so we'll do more of this, you know what I mean? Because it's always going to be changing.
Always.
And then let's check back maybe at the end of the summer or something and see how your prediction is.
Yeah. I think I don't know, I've been pretty good at this.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
You need to start betting on, Vegas or something.
Maybe.
Okay.
But
Don't
that's not
bet.
a good
It's
place of money.
Not a good place of money at all. Thank you again. This is Virginia Todd with Leading Edge.
And Leo Turco with Evolve Mortgage.
And we will see you next time.